Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if the connections you feel with people, especially in important relationships like with a mentor, change from day to day, or are they mostly the same? Well, this fascinating new study dives deep into just that. Researchers look closely at how college students feel about the similarity between themselves and their mentors. They wanted to know if these feelings of being alike are a steady part of their personality, like a trait, or if they can change depending on the day or the situation, more like a state. And they also explored how these feelings of similarity might affect how much support a student feels they're getting from their mentor. Think about it, mentoring is super important for students, especially in science and tech fields. It helps them succeed and stick with it. And the study says the biggest predictor of a good mentoring relationship is that feeling of being psychologically similar to your mentor, like you share attitudes and views. But how does that feeling actually develop over time? That is the big question this research aims to answer. In the world of college, especially in STEM science, technology, engineering, and math, keeping students motivated and on track is crucial. Lots of students start in STEM, but many unfortunately leave. Mentoring is seen as a key way to help them stay, but we don't always know exactly what makes a mentoring relationship truly effective. One of the major ideas in understanding good mentoring comes from something called the similarity attraction paradigm. Basically, it says we tend to like people who are like us. When we feel similar to someone, it feels validating, and that makes us feel good and more drawn to them. In mentoring, this perceived similarity, whether it is about demographics, shared experiences, or our deep level beliefs and values, is really important. In fact, research shows that psychological similarity, meaning sharing similar attitudes, beliefs, and values, is the strongest predictor of how good a mentoring relationship feels and how much support is given. But here is where this study gets really interesting. Is this feeling of psychological similarity something that is mostly fixed for a person, a stable trait that doesn't change much? Or is it more fluid, a state that can go up and down based on what is happening? If it is a trait, it means some people are just naturally more likely to feel similar to others. If it is a state, it means specific events or interactions can boost or lower that feeling temporarily. This study uses some really cool and advanced math to try and figure this out. They used a framework called latent state trait, revised theory. Imagine it like this. A trait is like your general baseline personality, your average tendency. A state is like a temporary mood or feeling at a specific moment. This theory helps researchers separate how much of our feeling about similarity is due to our stable personality and how much is due to the specific situation or moment. Previous studies often look at these relationships at just one point in time, which is like taking a single photo, but relationships are like movies, always changing, and they often assume that similarity causes good mentoring. But what if it is the other way around? What if getting good support makes you feel more similar? This study set out to untangle these relationships over time with multiple snapshots, like a time-lapse video. So, first off, they wanted to see if psychological similarity changes a lot over time, or if it stays pretty stable. And what they found was that it is actually a mix of both. About 58% of the variation in how similar students felt to their mentors was trait. Like, this means some of that feeling is tied to who they are as people, their stable tendencies, but a significant 42% was occasion specific. This means that it fluctuates. It changes from one occasion to the next due to things happening at that time. Think of it like a gentle uphill slope with little wavy ups and downs. The slope is your trait, your general tendency. The little wavy bits are the states, the temporary changes. So your overall feeling of similarity has a stable part, but it is also influenced by what is going on in that specific mentoring interaction. Next, they looked at the give and take between feeling similar and receiving support. Does feeling similar lead to more support, or does receiving support make you feel more similar over time, or both? This is where it gets really interesting. They found that these two things do influence each other, but not equally. Early on, if students felt more psychologically similar to their mentor, that predicted they would feel more supported later in the same academic year. So it seems like similarity can lead to support. But, and this is a big but, this effect didn't last across academic years. However, the other direction was much stronger. Getting more mentor support consistently predicted feeling more psychologically similar later on, both within and across academic years. So, the support you receive seems to have a more lasting impact on molding how similar you feel your mentor is. It's like the mentor support helps shape your perception of similarity more than your initial similarity shapes the future support. Finally, they explored a specific mechanism, role modeling. Does the extent to which a mentee sees their mentor as a role model change how similarity affects the support they feel? This finding was a bit surprising. At a general level, when students consistently saw their mentor as a stronger role model, the link between how similar they felt and how much support they perceived actually got weaker. This suggests that if you really look up to your mentor as role model, maybe the feeling of being like them becomes less crucial for feeling supported. It's like even if you are not super similar, if they're inspiring, you still feel good. However, at the moment-to-moment level, seeing the mentor as a role model did predict more mentorship support, regardless of how similar they felt at that exact moment. So, the idea of a mentor as an aspirational figure is powerful on its own. So, what does all this mean? First, that feeling of psychological similarity with your mentor isn't just one thing. It is a blend of stable personality traits and temporary situational boosts. This means interventions designed to increase similarity could work, especially for those who are naturally more inclined to connect. It's like some people are just naturally better at picking up on social cues and forming connections, making them more likely to consistently feel similar to their mentors. But even for them, specific interactions can still boost or lower that feeling. Think about self-disclosure when people share personal information. It often makes them feel closer and more similar in that moment. The study also highlights a really important point about the directionality of influence. While we often assume similarity leads to good mentoring, this research shows that mentor support itself is a strong driver of feeling more similar over time. This suggests that mentors focusing on providing consistent, high-quality support might be the most impactful way to foster both support and that crucial sense of similarity. So, what can we do with this information? For programs and mentors, creating opportunities for open communication, sharing personal stories, and discussing values can really help uncover those similarities. It is a low-cost but high-impact strategy. Also, recognizing that not everyone experiences similarity the same way is key. Interventions should be tailored to individuals. And finally, remember that these feelings aren't fixed, they can change. So ongoing efforts to build connection and provide support are more effective than one-off events. The role of a mentor as an inspiring figure is also vital, even if there isn't a deep sense of psychological similarity. It means that the mentor's actions and the way they carry themselves can boost the mentee's feelings of support independently. This study is a fantastic step in understanding the dynamics of mentoring relationships over time. Future research could look at even shorter timeframes to see how very specific interactions impact these feelings, or explore what exactly happens between those 6-month check-ins that might break or sustain these connections. Understanding these subtle shifts can help us build even better mentoring programs that truly support student success. Thanks for watching RUBIN'S Mind Lab. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more explorations into the fascinating world of psychology. See you next time.